What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of The Real Housewives of Potomac. This is Season 7, Episode 2, and let's jump right on in. You guys, the girls are still fighting. You still have Giselle and Mia going back and forth. Robin has showed up. She's chiming in, talking about how her and Giselle are not the only ones who found issue with Mia's post. You have Ascala, Candace, and Wendy. They're joining the group because they want to get into the mess. And then you also have Jacqueline, who is Mia's best friend. She's piping up, trying to defend Mia. At one point, Wendy is like, who is this talking? Who are you? And Jacqueline is like, I'm Jacqueline. I'm Mia's best friend. And I can't lie, I did laugh at that part. So yeah, the girls are going back and forth. Next thing you know, Charisse shows up. You already know Karen did not invite her, but who invited her? Robin. Because for some reason, Robin is adamant about having Charisse be at every event. So, of course, Charisse talks to Karen, and Karen is like, oh, didn't think she would be here. Of course, Charisse is like, yeah, we should get together and talk and all this stuff. Karen is not studying this lady. She is not interested in doing anything with Charisse. So, next thing you know, the Grand Dame, she makes a speech. I don't know where Karen was going with that speech, but all I got out of it was that the Grand Dame is back. I don't know if she ever left, but she's back, okay? Now, let's go ahead and jump on over to the next scene. Actually, no, I'm not. I just realized I forgot a major part of the party Karen threw. Y'all, Katie showed up. When I tell you I did not recognize Katie, I said, who is this bald-headed woman? Because she did not look like herself. First of all, she had shaved her head. You know, usually she rocks a bad wig, but this time she has shaved her head. She is extremely skinny, and she had on contacts looking like a White Walker. I said, what the hell is happening, Katie? This is not you. This is not the girl we were introduced to. Yeah, I think Katie is still going through some things, but it makes me nervous for her. I'm just like, y'all, we should pray for Katie. So here's the thing. Of all the people to remember that Karen's husband, he said that he would hook up with Katie, it would be Giselle. The funny thing about that is when he said that, Giselle was not even at that event. When they asked, I think it was they asked the husbands, they were playing a game, and it was all couples. Giselle ain't got no man, so she ain't no couple. She wasn't there. So they asked the guys who would basically be like your hall pass or whatever out of the ladies that are in the group. And Ray said it would be Katie for him. I said, how did Giselle just happen to remember that? Okay. So she tells Katie, like, oh my gosh, go see Ray, you know, he really likes you, blah, blah, blah. Katie goes over there. She hugs this man. She done pulled a Michael and grabbed his butt. I said, oh my gosh, I cannot. So the thing is, y'all, this is the happiest I've ever seen Ray. Ever. I mean, the man was gleaming, okay? And not only that, he was smiling so hard, I think I saw every tooth in that man's mouth. But next thing you know, at one point, him and Katie even made it to the dance floor together. They were dancing on the dance floor. I said, Karen, come get your man, because he gonna be hurting tomorrow. I really think he might be hurting tomorrow. So let me go ahead and wrap up that whole party. Let's get into the real meat and potatoes of this episode, okay? So we see Karen, and she is talking to her husband. Y'all, come to find out, Ray plays tennis. Who would have thought that? I would have said maybe golf, but I just can't picture his old self out there running and chasing the ball and swinging. Can y'all imagine that old man swinging and playing tennis? I need a video of that. So they're just basically talking about her boob job. And his whole issue is that he doesn't want women to think that you have to go get plastic surgery. Clearly, this was all a Karen idea. He wanted no parts of this boob job, clearly. This was him allowing his wife to do whatever she wanted to do. Also, he doesn't want it to be an influence on their daughter. I think that's his main issue, is that he doesn't want it to be an influence on their daughter, Raven, to go out there and get plastic surgery when she doesn't need it. She's already beautiful. And Karen's point is, I agree with you, Ray, basically. I absolutely wouldn't suggest a young woman in her 20s get plastic surgery. But if you want to make a little tweak here and there when you're older, go ahead. Now, I must say, I absolutely agree with Karen. I do think that sometimes when you get plastic surgery, when you're in your 20s, like your body hasn't fully developed into what it's going to look like. For example, I've seen people who were really thin, I don't want to use the word thin, very slim, I would say. And that's when they were like 21, they were slim. They turned about 26, they got all these curves. And they didn't go to a doctor. So it's just like, let your body fill out. Just relax a little bit. But unfortunately, we live in a time where you start getting plastic surgery on your 18th birthday. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and move on. So we next hop over to Candace's house. She's making stew. I did not expect for Candace to know how to cook anything. I can't lie. She doesn't seem like the type of person who would know how to cook. Just throwing that out there. Especially considering she married Chris, who's a chef. I thought he did all the cooking, okay? But according to her, she was making some stew. We see Candace with her sister, and I kind of forgot that Candace even had a sister. Partially because her mama was so involved in her business with Chris, I forgot that lady had a whole nother child. You know what I mean? So, they're sitting here having this conversation about how Candace wants to have this baby and she wants to do IVF and all this stuff. And I'm just like, okay, how many times are we going to talk about this? Like, I just want her to fully go through the process. I would rather see you, getting an ultrasound or doing something else. Like, I don't know. I'm just not really interested in this storyline, to be honest. I would rather see her in the studio making music than this IVF story. And I get it. It connects with the audience. I understand that. But I just feel like Candace is going to make small things into big issues. And I can already see it coming. We already saw it actually on the first episode when she was arguing with Chris about his damn schedule and how he needs to do this, that, and other. So I don't know. I still feel like Candace has a lot more growing up to do before she brings a baby into this world. Just saying. Now, as far as her sister, though, her sister now lives with her. And I'm just like, it's funny how they keep having people live with them. First it was Dorothy, then it was Chris' kids, which I feel like they should be able to live there because that's their daddy house. But now it's her sister because her sister is getting her house built. I said, oh, well, what kind of money the sister got? Because if you getting a house built, you got a little bit of coin, okay? But let's go ahead and move on. So now we get a conversation between G and Mia. So they're out to lunch, and basically they let us know that they're going to be opening up another, what is it called? The joint chiropractor place that they own. They're going to be opening in DC. I'm like, okay, that's cool, even though there has been some drama in real life about them not even owning those places or all the businesses being in his brother's name. Yeah, there's something sketchy going on with Mia and Gordon. But nonetheless, Jacqueline appears, and of course they're going to talk about what happened at the event. So the crazy part is that all of this is now backfiring on Karen, and I actually feel bad for Karen because Karen was trying to stay neutral this entire time. But at the same time, because she knows how the girls are, she knows how Giselle is, and she knows how these girls operate, she was trying to give Mia a heads up right before the event that, like, hey, we already at this event and they talking about it, so you might want to come prepared. I think that is what Karen was trying to do, but G and Jacqueline have convinced Mia that, she's basically trying to save her own ass because she was talking shit as well. And I'm like, no. Because Mia is like, she lives down the street. She could have came over. She could have texted me, whatever, to let me know. Girl, we're on a TV show. If the cameras are not there, how is that going to help the show thrive? Karen has been on this show for 7 seasons. She know how this go. She know how to play this game. So if we're going to bring it up, yeah, I'll send you a heads up. But you're going to have to face this head on regardless. It didn't matter if it happened at Karen's event, at a park, at a restaurant. At some point, you are going to be confronted by these girls about your post. So let's not act like that wasn't going to happen. All right, so this next discussion is actually what I really want to talk about, okay? Now, that is between Giselle and Robin. Y'all, or should I say Baby Faith Evans. Listen, Baby Faith, she is stepping it up this season. She is coming at her own home, girl. I never thought I would see the day where Robin is trying to tell Giselle she's wrong on a few things, and even calling her out about, what she said to Ashley and Karen. So let me go ahead and break this down. So they're sitting there, and Robin is like, I'm really mad at you because of the things that you said. And Giselle's like, oh my God, what did I say? Girl, you know exactly what you said. You sat up there and told Ashley and Karen that Juan's name isn't on the house. First off, it's none of their business, to be honest. It is none of their business whose name is on that house. But at the same time, it's like, Giselle, I get it. You were trying to make a point. You were adamantly trying to show Ashley that what she's doing is not making any sense. I get it. But, baby, you really did throw Robin under the bus, because it makes it seem like Robin and Juan, they ain't serious about getting married. Look at that. It's only her name on the house. Like, it does make it look a certain way. Now, Robin explains that the reason why Juan's name isn't on the house is because his credit isn't, in the right place. And that's because his credit is still messed up. This is not funny. It's still messed up from when they got their house foreclosed on. And I'm like, damn, Robin, the man even got bad credit, and you still said he don't deserve half. Okay. All right, Robin. But I get it. I absolutely understand why she was pissed off at Giselle, because that was nobody's business for Giselle to tell. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about this whole Ashley situation, because we already know that Giselle is not going to let this go. She doesn't understand how Ashley keeps talking about how she's going to buy a house with Michael in an LLC. So you have Robin. She's like, well, listen, I got a little bit of tea because I talked to Ashley and she told me that, Chris slid in her DMs. What Chris? Who's Chris? Candace's Chris. He slid in her DMs and he was asking her, like, oh, you guys should come out to the place that he works. Whatever's at, like, the hotel. And she felt uncomfortable about it because she knew that Candace wasn't there. Like, why would he be sliding my DMs and Candace isn't with him? Okay. Why did Robin even tell Giselle this information? Because Giselle has been sitting on ready so that she can use her little bit of information and her incident against Candace. So Giselle, again, runs with this about how, Chris is, like, real sneaky and all this stuff. And it's like, no. This man works as a general manager at this place. Ashley, you posted a photo of you being out and about on the town, and he responded like, oh, you should have came to my spot. He was just trying to get you to come to the come to the bar or whatever, have a good time, probably post some pictures, tag the place. That's generating business. Like, actually, he was more so moving in a business sense. Like, yo, if I get Ashley, who is Ashley Darby from the Real Housewives of Potomac, to come to the place where I work, she's probably going to tag the place, she'll post it, and more people will want to come here. Come on now. So that was not good enough for Giselle. Robin was like, I don't see anything wrong with it. We've eaten at this man's house. He's cooked for us. Like, he's been extremely nice to us. Like, there's nothing going on. Oh, baby, Giselle has to tell her story. So Giselle goes on about how at the reunion, he was, like, super frustrated with Candace. He pulls Giselle to the side and said, hey, can I talk to you in your dressing room real quick? She's like, okay, cool. She thought her glam people would be there. And she was like, when they got there, the glam people were gone. Here's my thing. Even if your glam people were there, if he had a conversation that he wanted to have with you and he wanted it to be private, he will probably ask your glam people to leave anyways. So why are you tripping? So then she goes on to talk about how, he put her to the side so that he can talk about Candace and how frustrated he was and all that stuff that was happening. Because if y'all remember at the reunion, Chris was drinking and Chris was not really happy with Candace, okay? So, again, Robin is like, okay, so all y'all did was have a conversation. Like, that's it. Why are you making this into like a big deal now? And Giselle was like, it made me uncomfortable. I feel like Giselle is always vocal about everything. She would have probably told Chris, yeah, let's go ahead and step out and have this conversation somewhere else. Or, we could go ahead and have this conversation at another time and forget all about it. I just don't believe that Giselle felt that uncomfortable with Chris. Also, the whole thing about, because, he was trying to be a sneaky link and he was trying to see if I was with it. I'm like, girl, of all the people that he could be with, it would not be with you, Giselle. No offense. But, Giselle, you are not that girl. Cut it out. But secondly, for real, I do not think that was the vibe at all. I think he was just venting about Candace. He wanted someone to see things his way, or at least get a second opinion, and he thought that you would be the person to give some sound advice. And clearly you are not. Alright, so let's go ahead and move on because we have Ashley meeting up with her friend. I think her name was Deborah. They basically had like a play date with their kids. And they're talking about the divorce or the separation, whatever you want to call it. They both stay at this damn apartment. The only difference is that Ashley stays in the kids' room and Michael still stays in their bedroom. It just seems like it's all over the place, honestly. Like, I don't know what's really happening with this separation because I need for Ashley to actually step out and separate from Michael, and then she could call this a separation because everything so far looks like they're still doing things together. And I need for her to step out on her own and really, separate from Michael. I don't know. It just seems real weird. But let's go ahead and move on because there was not a lot happening in that scene. Oh, I forgot to mention that thanks to Ashley doing her TikTok dances, that's been therapy for her. And now she wants to have the girls get together for a dance class. And I'm like, okay, at least y'all gonna do some type of activity. Cool. Let's move on. So we see Ashley and Candace, they meet up and they're going to talk about, what Ashley had going on with Chris. Or should I say what wasn't really going on with Chris. So Ashley's a bit nervous to tell Candace about this because she knows how it's going to look once she says it. And she basically says, Chris slid into my DMs, even though all he did was reply to her photo. But yeah, he slid into her DMs. And Candace is like, wait, my Chris? She's like, yeah, just go ahead and tell me the situation. So Ashley says that he slid into her DMs about coming to this place. I can't even think of the name. I think it's called The View, I think. Coming to The View. And she didn't feel comfortable with it because she knew that Candace was not there. So she's like, why is your husband inviting me out to this place? Like, what's going on here? So Candace is like, oh, okay, let me explain. He's actually the general manager at The View. So basically he invites, sometimes my friends or just cool people out so that they can get more business, more promotion. She understood it. Everything was good. Like, there was no issues. Everything was good. She understood. And I was like, okay, that's dope because, most women, I'm not even going to say that. A lot of women jump to conclusions because that definitely could have backfired to where she would have been like, no, Ashley, you're just accusing my husband, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, really attacked Ashley. Because that happens. Let's not act like it doesn't. But everything was fine. Like, these girls are really off to a good start at them being friends. And I'm here for that. Now let's move on. So we get to the dance class. The first ladies to arrive was, I want to say, Robin, Giselle, and Charisse. So with those ladies arriving, here comes the conversation again because Giselle will not let it die I still can't believe that you're going to be trying to get a house with Michael. I would never get a house with my ex. When it was me and Jamal, we did not get a divorce and then get property together because this and that and that and this. And I'm like, girl. So every time you see Ashley, you're going to bring up the fact that she's getting a house with Michael. At this point, I'm starting to think that you're jealous. I'm starting to think that Giselle is jealous that she's going to come out. Well, not she. Ashley is going to come out looking better in this divorce than what she ended up with when she was messing around with Jamal. That's what I think is the problem here. I think she sees that, okay, Ashley was married to this guy. They had a prenup. Their prenup is over. So she technically deserves half. If they actually get this house, then, that's probably what she's going to keep for her to raise the boys in. And Giselle, I don't know what you ended up with the divorce with Jamal, but girl, clearly you did not end up with nothing because you keep harping on the fact that Ashley is getting this house with Michael. Let it go. And one thing that I will say is that Ashley is like, listen, didn't at some point you got back with Jamal? And she was like, yeah, but that was 15 years later. See, here's the thing. That's the 15 years later that we know of, because it happened on the show. I don't know, or we don't know as viewers, how much back and forth you and Jamal really had when, you were finally done with him. Because how many outside babies did he have on you? Did he have multiple outside babies on Giselle? So I'm pretty sure he had one baby. She was pissed off about it, but then she took him back. He came up with another baby. Then she took him back. He was still out there cheating. You get what I'm saying? So I do understand where Ashley is like, listen, this is kind of an emotional roller coaster. How you going to tell me when to let it go? You know what I mean? So now we get to the dance class. All the ladies finally show up. And, they do a little 1-2 step, pop, lock, and drop it, in the words of Giselle. Some people have more rhythm than others. I don't know what Robin was doing. Hell, I don't know what Giselle was doing. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and leave it up to the fact that, yeah, the girls were dancing. They were doing their best. It was looking a lot like how that Cuff It challenge be looking sometimes when people don't know what they're doing. But that's not even important. None of that dancing is important. Let's get to this conversation between Giselle and Candace. So Giselle freaking takes Candace into a different room, and she tells Candace the situation that happened between her and Chris. And baby, as she's going on and on about this, I can just see it in Candace, she's trying to hold it together and not cuss Giselle the hell out. Because not only are you sitting on this information, but we actually taped that reunion a while ago. Now you want to bring it up because, as you said, because Ashley has had this situation with Chris and now I have this situation with Chris. Oh, Candace saw straight through that you were trying to build a whole case on her husband. Baby, she looked straight into that camera and said, is this what we doing? Oh, this is what we're doing? She got up. She said, I need Eric. I said, who is Eric? Who is that? And that happened to be one of the executive producers. She pulls him into, I think it was the bathroom or something, and was like, listen, what you're not going to do is try to play my husband out to be the bad guy. My husband is not the guy who was out here touching on people, doing anything like that. That's for Michael Darby. I said, oh, not you throwing Michael underneath the bus again. So here's the thing. We got to stop throwing Mike under the bus because he's not on the show right now. I don't know if Michael is going to be on the show, but as of right now, Michael is not on the show. And I just hate that she said that because that might move her and Ashley into a negative space. Because Ashley may be like, why are you even mentioning my husband in this? You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, Candace was pissed off. And at this point, I think that is war between her and Giselle. Because like she said, this is the same man that has had y'all in his house. He will lay down a coat for y'all to walk over a puddle. He looks at y'all as his sisters. And for you to try to play him out on national TV like this, Damn, Giselle, here you go again, starting it up. But y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and y'all talk to y'all on the next one. Bye, guys.